Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today is Yamadori Day. So I'm going to start here on the ranch. I have a few trees that I've been taking a look at for the past few years. Hey Carl, pruning them up, letting them be, but this is the year that I want to get them out of the ground. So I was initially going to fill up a couple of baby pools, little plastic baby pools, with a ton of soil and add all of my Yamadoris to that, but instead I decided to utilize the raised tree bed that I built up for all of the Forsythia, Rose of Sharon, and Fraser fir cuttings that are down in the basement, currently getting some nice roots, hopefully. So I think there will be a lot of room in there, and no sense in purchasing, a couple of kiddie pools, a bunch of huge bags of soil, and spending all that money when I already have this one built up. At least that's what Laura tells me. So sometimes when my wife's right, she's right. We just won't tell her that. So, anyways, Yamadori Day here on the ranch. Let's get some birches, maples, verbena, possibly some pines. That's all coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Okay, so since it's not always successful, I really try to only Yamadori when I don't think a tree can really survive or thrive in the location it's at. So, with that being said, I have a few that are under this ginormous Norwegian spruce that I've pruned a few times. There's a birch back there, a couple of maples, and a verbena. And so the goal is I'm going to take my trusty Marine Corps E-tool, right? And you see I've already started this one digging a, get out of that. So anyways, I'm digging a wide circle around this bad boy. I'm going to try to wiggle it, hit the taproot, get that knocked out of the way, and then I'm going to try to keep the roots and the soil all intact as much as possible. Pop it onto this little, this is a rain collector top, and pop it onto that, soak it with water, and then I'm going to carry and or drag it around and get it planted in my raised tree bed. So maybe when Laura comes out a little bit later with Stella, we'll get some video of it. Otherwise, just in between, I'll keep you posted and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm not going to do a time lapse to music because for some reason, every time I set anything to music these days, even if I copy all of the stuff from my app for the given song, I get copyrighted. So I'm not going to time lapse to music. All right, stand by. All right, y'all, so I got the first maple popped out here. Nice little trunk. And I don't know if this is a red or a sugar maple, but maple nonetheless. And I wanted to show you why I want to keep the soil and these roots. But now they've hidden. There were a bunch of nice, oh, there we go. These nice nightcrawler worms in there. And that means nice, healthy soil, happy roots. There's more over here. So rather than completely disrupt the roots, I'll get that taproot, continue to get the taproot cut, and then they pop right out, at least this younger one. I think this thing is 3, maybe 4 years old. Yeah, maybe 4. And then I'll get it planted into the tree bed with most of its roots and soil still intact. And then next year or the year after, when I put it in a pot, then it will come out that much easier and have that less disruption to the tree itself. Because obviously we want them all to survive. It goes without saying. So you want to give them the best possible chance. So you see this one is just barely starting to green up on its bud tip. So a really good time to dig them up. All right, moving on. All right, so I got the maple planted back here. Looking good. I'm going to try my best to space them without needing any additional or having any additional space in between each. So here I have what I thought was a birch all this time because it has a grayish white trunk starting, but it could be an ash tree. I'm just not sure because the buds are barely starting to open, but I feel like these two leaves right here are not birch leaves. So I don't know, maybe you're on a little bit older one, they come out a little bit differently in clusters maybe, because I just have my less than 4-year-olds from seed. So I don't think it's a birch anymore, but I hope it is. It did not have a very straight down tap root. It popped out relatively easily, and you'll see in a second. It's actually perfect, nice and perfectly round. This is all the needles from the Norwegian spruce above it, right here. And I was able to just chop around it and then pop my E-tool underneath and pop whatever was going straight down. And I'm assuming since it was within a reach of the other tree that this soil is nice and rich with the night crawling worms as well. So pop it in here. Planting them just a little bit lower than I would in a pot, just so they could get a nice full year, at least one. Oh yeah, here's a nice worm right here. At least 1 year transplanted into here before I pop it in a pot. You might be wondering, well, what the hell's the difference between growing it there or growing it here? But the longer you leave them in the ground, the bigger the tap roots become and the more difficult it is to get them out of the ground for you on your back with the shovel, but also it's harder on the tree to recover, in my opinion. So anyways, it's a nice sized one. See, it's pretty easy little system you got going on here. Okay, so here we go. Second one's in. The system is working well. Do you see what I'm talking about on the trunk though? Definitely first appeared like a birch. But I guess we'll see when these pop out. These are the most developed right here. Oh well. And then we got the maple back there. So I'll probably stagger them, probably put the next one there, and boom, 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 boom. All right, looking good. All right, so this one was the hardest. It did not want to come up. And when it came up, it was basically just roots and all the soil fell off. So I threw a bunch of the soil in here with it, but it does have some nice little baby roots, very fibrous, coming off of these larger roots. Let's have a look at it. It's a nice thick size. Got a very interesting trunk down here. Maybe only this root comes up a bit high on where I would want the trunk line. And I pruned it here about 3 years ago, the big prune. And then earlier in the season, while it was holding Stella, I just did a quick prune on them. And it's budded out, so maybe I'm a little late on this one, but I think this is a very easygoing tree because they're all over the place. So I think, you know, as far as a maple goes, I would give it 50-50 with the roots looking like this. But as far as this goes, this unknown tree, by the way, I call it a verbena, I don't know. It's just all over the ranch. I would give this one about 80% chance. So just wet it down. Now I'm going to go pop it in there, and we're done for underneath the Norwegian spruce. So we're heading to the front of the property. There are a few Forsythia, I don't know, somebody corrected me and said there's no N, but that's how we say it up here in Connecticut. Forsythia, front of the property, there's a couple of baby little stumps I'm going to dig up. So I'm going to show you when everything is all done. All right, so we were just back there underneath that tree. And I was going to highlight this year's Yamadori season. Actually, this is only the second time I've really done Yamadori. The first year I didn't have much luck. And since I had so many seedlings, I said, let me focus on these and learn more about trees before I go doing it. So that's why I'm waited until now to harvest all these trees. A couple of them I wish I did earlier. A couple of them I wish, well, I don't wish I left, but I left for a reason and it worked. But this pine back here is going to be like the crowning Yamadori achievement, but it's just like so amazing that I can't kill it. If it was to die, I would not forgive myself. Look at that trunk. At some point it got crushed, broke off. It's got a nice bunch of dead wood, and the trunk is crazy, and then it grew vertically like so. I'd say maybe below, a little smaller than average on needle size, not much, but really just a nice grouping of branches. Usually on a tree this size, as far as a pine goes, you don't have this many branches like this. Anyways, it's beautiful. You can even look at that right there. That nice dead wood. Seen some talented bonsai people make things like that look incredible, but it looks incredible as is. So if for some unforeseen reason we have to leave the ranch or move, something like that, I will dig it up and take it with me then. All right, so if you do not live in Connecticut and don't have Forsythia all over the place, this is what we look like. I sent my broski Jay and a part of New York some of these because he said they were harder to come by him. So anyways, they are beautiful. Very early spring. These bloom out. That's how you know spring's coming. And apparently if you're going to grow them as cuttings outside, you wait for them to go into leaf, nice green leaves, and then you cut them and plant them that way. I did them early, so I cut them when they were still dormant, let them flower out in the house, root in water, and they're still rooting in the basement. As we speak, I'm gonna root them, Rose of Sharon and Fraser Fir, for the next 3 or 4 more weeks, and then start second week of May, I'm gonna plant them all in that raised tree bed that we've been planting in. So in here, there's a couple of little babies I've eyed out before, and I'm going to dig those up and I'll show you the finished product afterwards. All right, so let's get a look at this star magnolia. So the Jane magnolias, or what people call them tulip magnolias, they're really popular around here. But these are a little more rare. They have the beautiful white flowers. Look like bursting stars, that's the name. I think last year it might have been a little more full as far as flowering goes, but we did have some colder mornings right in a row, right when I was trying to bud out. So, but anyways, look at this trunk. Almost starts perfectly, and then it's a little crazy up top, but as far as my arm reaches, it's appropriately pruned. Cool. Hey Millie in Bruce's yard. All right, we got a little sidetracked. We gotta fill that thing up. My bird bath. All right, y'all, so wrapping up Spring Yamadori 2022. I got a couple of those Forsythia. This first one, got that really cool aged looking trunk, and there is a nice healthy bud coming out of the base there. So that one's pretty cool. And then the other Forsythia was right here. I just kind of like this one because it had a knob at the bottom. And this could be a deadwood feature, or I could just cut it right off. But Either way, it was one of two that were free. So free for me to dig up. So I dug up both of them. So that one's looking good. Over here, this one was quite the challenge. Got that one up. And then you saw the rest. So 7 trees in all. It's funny because as I'm over here working, the chickens are like, "What's up?" Carl wants to come yell at me. And the hens, I think they might be getting worms and stuff from the other side, because you see I have that hardware fabric right there, hardware cloth, I think they call it, maybe. Very fine mesh. And so there's a 2x12, and then a lot of that is actually the backing along with cardboard for this. So they'll be able to pull out some worms and stuff maybe. Who knows? So that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai, y'all. Completing my Yamadori harvesting of trees project. It was fun, but I'm already tired and I have to go work out now. So I'm going to get to that. This is my 60th Monday in a row with cleansing only liquids all day. So from like Sunday night, supper time about 7 until Tuesday, 8:15 a.m. when I have a shake or like some eggs or something like that, I have done an all liquids cleanse, and it's actually been great. Getting 40 now really helps with body inflammation, joint pain, things of that nature, and just overall maintaining healthy body weight, you name it. A lot of benefits. Anyways, I love it. Not saying you have to do it, just saying on Mondays I like to stay busy, keep it low and slow the whole day, and then crash out and wake up. You actually wake up not as hungry as you go to bed, but from about 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. you want to stay busy. So I'm Jared Paul from the ranch. Happy Yamadori season, y'all. Cheers.